Hello, Tubies. Sheila True Love here with you. And I was just laying here in my bed relaxing after a lovely day at work. And it feels so good to come home to a peaceful environment. And I was sitting down to eat my dinner. And I was watching this divorce court. And after looking at this just totally pissed me off. Anyway, tell me what you think.
Because my marriage is out of control. My husband runs off with his money. He disappears and abandons me and the kids. And to top it off, I don't even know if he's gay.
My wife is very insecure, controlling, and manipulative. Sometimes she even goes through my phone.
Kendall's attitude is he doesn't care about anybody but himself.
My wife expects me to give her all of my check, and I don't agree with that.
I want the judge to tell Kendall in her perspective how he's hurting me and the kids.
I would like the judge to help us with trying to find common ground to see where this marriage stands.
I don't know if I want to stay in this marriage. I'm losing me holding on to him. Kendall will have to do a 180 to save our marriage.
Divorce court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toler presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Talia Wilson and Kendall Wilson. The two of you have been together for 5.5 years, married for 5, and you have one son together, and you have children from previous relationships. Mrs. Wilson, I'm going to start with you. You say you love your husband, but you're having difficult times. Why don't you tell me what's going on?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I feel alone in my marriage. My husband is unmanageable with his money. He doesn't provide the way he should and help out with the bills. About a month ago, I lost my job and I was bringing in over about $600 a week. And now I'm working for a nursing agency and I can go from anywhere from $0 to $400 a week because it's an agency and it depends on when they book
They
me
book
for work.
you a job,
Right.
yeah.
And so he's supposed to be the sole provider in our household. He will much rather spend money on himself than to put money into the household.
Does he work outside the home?
Yes, he does. He works as like a janitorial for his job, and he brings in about $500 every 2 weeks. And I can't seem to get him to stay consistent with paying the bills like it was before when I was working.
Mr. Wilson, is she accurate about that, or did she get some of that wrong?
She's definitely not accurate, Your Honor.
Tell me what you say is going on economically.
My checks are typically $400 to $500, like she says, due to them taking out child support in my checks. But when I do get my checks, I show her, I give them to her.
Now, keep in mind, he makes $500 every 2 weeks. And that's because they take money out. Oh, come on, baby, move. I'm trying to record. And that's because they take money out of his check for child support. He has 3 children with other women and 1 child with her. Why in the hell did she sign on for something like that? I'm not dealing with no man who have no 3 children with no other woman. You know? I would never take anything like that on because most of his money is going for child support. That's just, I don't know. That's,
The rent, I've been making rent and trying to take care of rent on my own because she's been out of work. She wants me to give everything that I have, but I can't because I have to have ways to get back and forth to work. So I keep money to the side.
How about a second job there? Somebody falls on hard times, you double up.
You're right. But I also had a second job, but with me working my first job, I worked there so much that I don't have time to go to my second job, and it's burning a hole in my pocket due to her always having her hand out or asking me for this, that, and the other.
What do you think? Is she...
Did you hear what he say? Due to her always having her hand out, asking me for this, that, and the other. She's not asking him for, let me get my nails done, my hair done. She's asking for money that's going to contribute to the household. This character is, you continue to watch and you're going to see why I feel the way I feel. Because this is not a man. This is a dude who's still a boy. And like billionaires who marry black women, they say, look, if you want to step to a black women are for grown-ups. So if you are still a child, you need to go back over there in your little playpen somewhere. Okay? And another thing, anytime you find These black men who are constantly complaining about money and being cheap and stingy, please, Tubies, hire an investigator, because that's a down low. That's a down low. Because anytime they keep complaining about money like this, you know, they're supposed to be the providers. If women have to be submissive and nurturing, and we have to, you know, run the household as if it were a business, you run your home smoothly, then the least that these characters can do is be decent providers. Okay? Now, this woman, she's a worker. She's not no lazy woman who just lays back. She used to work making $600 a week. She was making more than him. He makes $500 every 2 weeks. And when she was working, she made sure that the bills were paid on time. I'm sure she wasn't crying about it like he is. But like I tell my Tubies, please remember this if you remember nothing else. The way a man treats you, that's the way he feels about you. If he's cheap and stingy and always crying about $1, trust me, he does not value you, he does not love you, and you are not special to him. Believe that.
Asking for things that are outrageous, or is she just asking for basic necessities?
Sometimes it could be like stuff around the house, or gas, or clothing. Sometimes I have to give and sometimes I don't. And sometimes she doesn't understand that. And
you know, it's interesting. You said in your paperwork to my people, I'm not with the lifestyle of kids and paying bills. What does that mean?
Before we met, I was in a lifestyle where I didn't have kids, and I was in and out in the streets, and I was in social clubs with my family.
Yeah, but I'm talking about now that you got a wife and kids.
Now that I have a wife and kids, I'm more of a homebody, and I don't go out due to the fact...
You said you need to have money in your pocket. And you got mad because she asked to borrow, and I don't know how you borrow from your husband.
Yeah, I agree with that, Judge. How are you going to ask your husband, can I borrow some money? You're my husband. There's no such thing as me borrowing from my husband. And notice what she asked him for money for. For gas, for things around the household. You know, things to contribute to the well-being of the family. She's not asking him for money so she could go hang out at the club, go get her hair done and her lashes put on, long eyelashes, looking like Tammy Faye Baker. No, she's asking for things that are a necessity. Money for things that are a necessity.
$25 to wash clothes. I'm sure your shorts were in there too.
No, actually, that never happened. She asked to use it for linen, and I did not hesitate to give it to her due to the fact my check was short. But I put that money towards rent, and I gave her the money, but I also needed it back the next day because I had to renew my ID, was expired.
He wanted me to give it back to him. He actually got upset because I didn't give the money back to him.
You know, you sounding all reasonable and rational out here, but you came out of pocket with my people.
And it's
I mean, you were all like, man, I need money in my pocket. I ain't with the paying.
It's very hurtful. We've been together for too long.
That's how you came across, but you got in here, got light in the knees.
No, that's not the case. I don't have problem giving her money when I do have it or when I can afford it.
When I do have it or when I can't afford it, I do not understand that.
That's because the money I make, it goes to rent, and then I put up what I can to get back and forth to work for the next 2 weeks.
Ms. Will.
So the only amount of money he makes is enough for rent and going back and forth to work? What about food? What about utilities? And if you want cable, because I'm sure he don't want to sit up in the house just bored out of his goddamn mind. And then you need Wi-Fi if you want to use your cellular. But of course, you know, I think women could take care of Wi-Fi, cable, and all the non-necessities. But when it comes to rent, utilities, and food, that's a necessity. I'm sorry. And if a man wants to be respected as a man, then he has to step his game up.
Listen, you said he buys on himself. He spends a lot of money on his own things.
Yes.
Tell me what kinds of things that he buys that you don't believe he should.
I can ask him for money for laundry, for example, or something for the household, and he'll tell me he doesn't have it. I'll look up, and he'll have some new shoes or a new outfit. For an example, for the 4th of July one year, we was having a family picnic. He went and spent $240 on some brand new shoes. He went and spent $70 on some pants and $50 on a shirt. And we were already behind on rent. We was $400 behind on rent. Our rent was $775.
Did you buy yourself a fly July 4th outfit when you were behind on rent?
That was due to an altercation that we were into it, and I did. I think.
How is purchasing an outfit due to an altercation?
I've left my household before due to her being outrageous and disrespectful. And
now his idea of saying that she's too controlling and she's too demanding. You know, you have a lot of these characters that say you're controlling and demanding when you ask them to do what they're supposed to do. What? She wants me to pay rent? Look how controlling she is. What? She wants me to contribute to the household? What? No, she's too controlling. Look at her. She's demanding. She wants to look at my phone. Oh, look at her. She's being control. Oh, baby, please. Ladies, don't fall for that bullery. Please don't. The only kind of characters that say things like that are characters who don't want to live right and they don't want to do right. And personally, you don't have time for that. Like I was thinking about myself. My thing about me being successful, let me tell you, is I don't let people waste my time, my energy, or my resources. That's what life has taught me. If I'm going to be successful and achieve the goals that I've set for myself. So this character here, he don't give a doggone about this woman. He really don't. He's still a boy.
Just not listening to me. So that's the outlet for me to leave. But I did not spend $200-300 on an outfit. I did purchase.
No, you spent $300-400 on the outfit.
One outfit.
I purchased some gym shoes. Yes, I did. Yes, it wasn't right, but
he purchased gym shoes that cost $240, but yet you behind on your rent, and you think that that's the wise thing to do? And the Bible says that women are supposed to be submissive to their husbands. And this is why I tell women we are definitely supposed to be submissive to our husbands, but we have to listen to what Jesus tells us first. And Jesus tells us all throughout Proverbs to be wise, my child. Be wise, be wise. So if your partner, your husband is telling you to do something that is not wise, then you have to listen to what Jesus tells you first. $250 or $40 on some sneakers and $70 on some shirt and whatever the hell, and rent is backed up. Are we serious? So you see, there is a time when a woman, she doesn't have to be submissive to her husband if he's making foolish decisions. Because in the Bible, it says, be wise, my child, and make my heart rejoice. You make God's heart rejoice by being wise. And when you have an idiot of a husband like this, yeah, you have to override him. His headship is overridden by Christ. Jesus Christ overrides him.
Yes, I did, but
I went in terms.
I got it. I mean, there's no more you need to
say.
That's proven, dead, done, and over with. Now I want to turn to what you say are Mr. Wilson's disappearing acts.
One time he left, and I didn't call my family to help me look for him because I didn't know where he was. He said he was going out to get a chicken sandwich and didn't come back.
Mr. Wilson, do you go missing from time to time?
You're a married man, and you do disappearing acts. You do disappearing acts for a week, a day, 2 days at a time. Like I said, you see what I mean? When it comes to overriding a man's headship. Now, if this woman is, please. Now, the Bible says we're not allowed to get a divorce unless one of our partners commit adultery. But the Bible does not say that we can't get a separation. You are allowed to take a time out or a separation, because him doing disappearing acts like that, he would come back home. The locks would be changed. I would have my order of protection in place first. Locks would be changed, and his stuff would be sitting right outside, right at the door. Okay? So he don't have to take time to pack up anything. All you have to do is hand it to him with the police present. Because this is ridiculous.
you say that on occasion Mr. Wilson simply goes AWOL. He's just simply out and gone. Tell me about that.
Well, he's been doing this, Your Honor, for about 4 years. For instance, about 9 months after we were together, we had an altercation about money and the kids again, and he left for 3 days, and when he came back, he said he had been sleeping on a bench.
He left for 3 days and going to try to convince you to, actually, he's calling you a fool. He was sleeping out on a park bench. You have a home, a perfectly good home, but you rather sleep out. Boy, he really sees her as a fool.
Did it again about 2 weeks after we got married. He went and disappeared, and I went looking for him. So then a day after I found out where he was, he started calling me, him and her together, begging me to take him back.
She was begging you to take it back. That's not a good sign at all. Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, do you go missing from time to time?
Yes, that was previously in the beginning stages of our marriage relationship.
Again, no.
Have you grown out of that?
No.
Is that what you're saying? You don't do that anymore?
No.
I haven't in a long time, but recently I have.
No.
Due to the fact that she has very controlling, doesn't listen, and does things around the kids that I don't think is.
I was going to get to those things, and I want to talk about each and every one of them. But right now, tell me about the most recent time that he...
The most recent time was about 2 weeks ago. He left. He disappeared for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And before he left, I was so angry at the thought of him doing it again, I started flinging bleach around.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was upset and I was angry. And I know it wasn't right, but it's just, you know, we have a household, we share a home. We just recently moved into our new home, so it's not, you know, it's not something that you can just get up and just go. One time he left and I didn't put on a search party, then called my family to have them come over to help me look for him because I didn't know where he was. He said he was going out to get a chicken sandwich and didn't come back. So me and my family, we're all gathering in the house, getting ready to leave out to go look for him, and he walks in the door with a smirk on his face. I wanted to kill him.
Where were you 2 weeks ago when you left for a week?
I was at a family member's house, Your Honor.
You was at a family member's house. So, of course, you can't say, well, prove it. Let me call the family member because you already know he already called the family member and say, yo, man, tell him that I was over here. You know what I mean? So, considering you was at the family member's house for a week, you can pack up your stuff and you can go stay with those family members, okay? And a woman has got to be firm and she has to stand, put her foot down. I'm sorry. Because this is just, it's not only disrespectful, it's abusive. It's mental and emotional abuse. And the only reason why these clowns keep behaving this way is because the women keep putting up with it.
What prompted you to leave?
She's very controlling and our relationship is very toxic.
Give me some examples of the controlling things that she does.
Watch this.
She can argue about just the smallest things. Like, it could be, I haven't did something fast enough. I haven't...
Give me an example. Something she did in the last 2 weeks. What made you leave this 2 weeks ago? What was that argument about? We had been in
a prior argument, and she wanted to argue about something, and I got upset about it, and I told her...
What was it?
I really don't remember.
Of course he does not remember. He has a lapse in his memory when he does things that he doesn't...
Do you hoop and holler a lot, Mrs. Wilson?
When I'm upset, when my feelings are hurt, yes, I do.
How often does that happen?
It mainly happens when we're into it because everything will be going fine and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's irritated about me. He's irritated about the kids. Where every little thing that we does is bothering him. Even when I was pregnant with my son, I was 6 months pregnant in the hospital, threatening of preterm labor. He was tired of being there with me, so he said he had other things to do. So he darted out the room. I jumped up out of the bed because I didn't know what was going on with the IV pole in my hand and looking for him. He had ran out the hospital. I had to drive myself home from the hospital after I got discharged and lie to them and tell them that
I had somebody
downstairs and I didn't. I got home and he was gone.
Did you run out of the hospital?
No, I did not. I was there prior to the last day to up and her leaving the hospital. But I think I had something prior to a family member. that I had to take care of, but I was there the whole time up until the last day she stayed there.
My father went looking for him, and he was at the basketball court hanging out with some guys and some young girls.
Well, speaking of hanging out,
your wife is in the hospital, 6 months pregnant, getting ready to go into maybe premature labor. You jump up talking about how you're tired and you got other things to do, and you're going to jump up and leave out of the hospital? Are you serious? And then he sits here and say that she likes to harp and argue or nag about things. I mean, look at the things that this character does. You disappear for 2-3 days, even a week. And then when I speak on it, you're ready to say that I'm demanding, controlling, and I nag too much. Look at the kind of thing. Check this out. Let a wife do that, okay? Let's just flip it. Let a wife, go to work, and she don't bother coming home. She just don't come home for like 3 days. He's calling. She ain't picking up no cell phone. She comes in, let's say, 3 days later or a week later. Do you think that husband is just going to sit there and lay down and say, hey, babe, good to see you home? Really? Yeah, sure.
I want to talk about another issue. You have questions or concerns about his sexual orientation based on the people he hangs out with. So I want you to tell me about that.
A friend of the gay pride parade. My husband's response was he didn't see what would be the problem with him going. So then I'm confused.
What would you do if your partner bought expensive clothes when the rent is due? Tell us what you think at divorce court.
What I would do is rip him a new one. Yeah, and we either go into, he gets some psychiatric help because it's obvious he's taken a leave or a loss of his senses. You're going to sit up here and purchase all this stupid stuff when we could be on the street. Yeah, that's smart. And then I'm supposed to have respect for you? Really?
Divorce court will be right back. So, Ms. Wilson, why do you have some concerns about his sexual orientation?
Because there was a situation that came about. A friend of his invited him to go to the pride parade, the gay pride parade. My husband is very homophobic. We see homosexual people. He's ooh and ah and talking.
And another thing, Tubies, anytime you have a dude who acts like he's homophobic and he don't like gays and all, that's a down low. That's a down low. They sit up there and pretend like, oh, I can't stand faggots. I can't stand. Those are the ones that are the biggest down faggots of all. So you have to be on the lookout for that. Okay? Because I know so many characters like that. They talk so badly about gay people and especially men. And turns out later on down the road, Bobby Tony Tink let me know, yeah, we already had him. But hold up, how's that possible? This clown is sitting up here talking about how much he hates homosexuals. Yeah, I see why. Thank God for my friends, Bobby, Tony, Tink, and Frankie. Yeah, they fill me in a lot. So be on the lookout, these guys who's talking about how much they don't like faggots and they don't this. Yeah, they're the biggest faggots of all.
About and all that stuff. So this particular friend, he invited him to go hang out with him. He said accompany him to the gay pride parade. And my husband's response was he didn't see what would be the problem with him going because the things he does is about money, and also because he had been to the gay pride parade before. So then I'm confused because
the things he had done were about money.
The things that he do, everything's about money. That's what he always says. I'm trying to take care of business. It's about some money.
Can I speak?
Are you just mad because he went to... There's nothing wrong with going to the gay pride parade. You don't have to be gay to go, because I heard it's a really good time.
He didn't go, but he's very homophobic. So I didn't understand
He protested about it.
He would want to be with this man and hang out with him.
And he said the thing about money. And then
right.
You got to think about it.
My mind went left.
Clear that up
Let me
for
clear
us,
that up, Your Honor.
Whoa.
With a family member before.
And you didn't make the comment about the money?
Huh?
You didn't make the
No,
comment.
I did a move for a friend that is gay, and she had a problem with that, and he paid me for the job.
This is
you
the same friend.
Homophobic?
No, not at all. I have friends that are gay. Then when he comes back off of his disappearance acts, all of a sudden he wants to do all of these weird things. So that's another thing that alarmed me.
Yeah, that's another thing to look out for. Anytime your partner is gone for a couple of days, or they do disappearing acts, or you feel this like intuition, this feeling that that women get, and you notice how they want to try to do different things sexually, all of these weird sexual things that they never used to do. And there's nothing wrong with trying new things, because that's what keeps the relationship spicy. But there's a difference. A woman knows her man. And all of a sudden you want to come up after you got through hanging out with a bunch of gay men. Now you want to come up here and try this new stuff, pretty much the kind of things that gay men do to each other. Yeah. Red light.
Oh, so you don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing when he's not.
And one day you brought it
that's
on.
what he doesn't understand. I have no clue what you're doing.
Right. Do you understand why your wife's upset?
No, I don't.
Wow.
You're the only one in this room who doesn't.
Because she feels a certain way that I
Then it's like, how is it that after all of these years, you're still saying, this is not my lifestyle? This is not what I do.
I never said.
How? Like, what?
You didn't say it. I got it in writing. You said it.
My lifestyle now is my family. I love her.
He treats us like we are
and the kids.
inconvenience to him. But then he leaves and he comes back, and you keep hanging on to me. So what? What is the problem?
Exactly. So when he leaves, let him. Why don't he just stay gone? That's what's freaking her out. You leave and you come back, but the problem here is she keeps letting him back. You see? But I like the way the judge is going to sum this up. Yeah.
Mr. Wilson, you understand what the problem is?
I do understand the problem.
What's the problem?
The problem is
you.
I tell you what the problem is. You
Problem-
take too long.
Yep.
What would you do if your partner had a secret gay life? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram at Divorce Court.
I will leave them
Divorce Court will be
immediately.
right back.
You're going to sit up here and jeopardize my life and my health because you want to plug some other dude in their rectum? Or you're not satisfied with me. Why? Because I have the wrong anatomy. I don't have a penis swinging between my legs. Because you have a lot of these guys out here, they try to make the wife feel like she's inadequate or she's not good enough. No, sweetheart, it has nothing to do with you. Because you have a lot of these suckers, they got to have something in their mouth to suck on. Or they want to feel a penis up in their rectum. Or they want to sit up here and poke their penis inside of some other man. You know, there's nothing wrong with you. The only problem here is you don't have the anatomy that they're looking for.
I'm not going to yell at Mr. Wilson because it won't do any good.
That's
It
right.
doesn't.
Tell
And I
him.
don't know why I do it all the
So
time.
I'm going to talk to you to help you out. Mr. Wilson is who he is. He is not completely and thoroughly committed to his family. He has other things he's going to do, and he's out there, and you are an inconvenience. This is what I would do if I were you. I'd stop worrying about where he went. I wouldn't have sex with him anymore because I don't know where he's going.
Now, you heard what she said? She would not have sex with him anymore. And then he's going to complain, well, my wife don't want to have sex with me. Why should she have sex with you? You do disappearing acts. And then when you come back, you got all this strange and weird behavior. You're going to freaking gay parades and hanging out with a bunch of gay faggots. No, I wouldn't have sex with him either.
I don't know if he's got a chick on the side. I don't know what he's doing. But neither do you. So you have to be comfortable in living your own life. Don't get excited. Don't let him... You know, he's already taken your financial security. He's taking up your time. Don't let him take your joy, too. You know, you have to live here. You take what money you can get from him. You continue to ask for and demand that he contribute to the home in which he stays. But don't be invested in his love anymore. Because he's not invested in you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's right, he's not.
I know at this time you may not be able to live without him financially. But I just don't want him to keep hurting you emotionally until you get to a place where you can just if you have to.
I just got a great job offer, and he
Good.
didn't even say congratulations.
Yeah.
But don't let it hurt you anymore. He's trifling. Don't let him keep disappointing you. It is not a reflection on you as a woman. It's not a reflection on you as a wife. It's not a reflection on you as a mother. It's a reflection on him as a man. That he doesn't care.
Thank you.
So don't keep chasing. You know, it's like digging for gold in a silver mine. It ain't there. And I want you to get past that. Don't entertain that anymore. And it has nothing to do with you. Mr. Wilson, I hope you can make a liar out of me. I hope you're more than what I see here today. I hope that even if you're not in love with this woman, or if you're not invested in the life that you created with this woman, that you're man enough to support this woman in the job of raising the children that she has. You married her. You promised to love her and honor her and cherish her. You're not doing any of that. So at least support her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pay your rent. Do your part. Don't get all cranky and mad at her because you want to go out and you want to start an argument so you can leave. I know what you're doing.
It's not the case, Sean.
Yeah, it is.
My household is very toxic due to her 90% of the time.
Mrs. Wilson, you heard what I said.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? You're a beautiful woman with now a good job. You pursue that. You look for the light wherever you go. Don't let him hurt your feelings no more because he's trifling. And trifling people do trifling things.
Oh, I love that. I couldn't have said it better. He's trifling. He's trying to say that the household is a mess because she's toxic and 90% of the time it's her. Everybody in the audience, even the judge, can see straight through his lies. He's childish. He's still a boy. He's on the down low. Complains about money. I told you that's the #1 factor. When you see these dudes out here complaining too much about taking on their manly role, they want to be the woman in the relationship. And like the judge here said, he's trifling. And trifling people do what trifling people do, trifling things. That's the way she said it. Trifling people do trifling things. Okay? And trifling people are very toxic. What is toxic? Toxic means that it's poison. What does poison do? Poison will kill you. So you have to get away from toxic people. And like she said, don't let him continue to steal your joy. She just got herself a new job, and I'm sure she's going to make more money than him. He's making $500 every 2 weeks. She can make $600 every week. So she's going to land on her feet. Let him kick him out the door and let all the faggots and all the lowlifes and all the toxic things out there, let them have him. That's what he wants. That's what he feels is so important. I say open the door and let him go to it, honey.
More power to you. Take care of yourself. I'm proud of you, and this matter is adjourned.
That's right. I'm proud of you too, girl.